especially dark time for me. I was insanely depressed. I was very lonely. My high school sweetheart and I had just broken up, and he moved to Florida. My best friend moved to California, and I didn't have any other friends because I like to get drunk and beat them up. So I was working a shit retail job in a shit mall, and I decided that I needed to make a lot of money and I needed to move far away and get away from my life. And I didn't think that I was hot enough to be a stripper, and I decided that I could be an escort. So I got a job with an escort service because I had a vagina and I knew what to do with it. And there are times when the universe just like beats you over the head with a message, and sometimes you get it and sometimes you don't. But this night that I'm going to tell you about was a night that I got the message. So my driver, his name was Rob, he picked me up from my parents' house because that's where I was living. And he had another girl in the car, Caitlin, who she ended up being my friend during the time that I worked this job. Like, I hated myself every waking moment during the time that I worked here, except when I was taking the money and putting it in my pocket. And I was just like, I'm getting away. And Caitlin was also not in it for the drugs. We were like the only two girls that worked there that didn't have track marks and like pipe burns on our lips. And she had like a mother in a wheelchair who was sick, and she was doing it because she wanted to help pay the bills. And I appreciated that. And I was like, when I touched with humanity, I was still kind of normal. But this night I get in the car and I look in the back seat. She's about 6-7 months pregnant. She's drooling all over herself. And Rob tells me, I'm pretty sure that she's shooting dope again. So my heart breaks a little bit, but to fix that, I'm gonna go make some more money. So we go to a call in New Jersey, and it was like this apartment complex, and it was in the middle of just a bunch of Jersey highways, and this guy answers the door. He's like very lurch, unibrow, like, hello. And I come in, I'm like, hi, and he's like, be quiet. My roommate is 87 years old, and I don't want him to wake up. And like, that's cool, because I don't want to talk to you anyway, that's fine. So we walk through the dining room and the living room, and there's like boxes packed up everywhere. It looks like they're like moving or something. And, you know, I just want to get down to business. I get on top of this guy, it's like 1, 2, 3, bam. The rule was, if they come, you go. Otherwise, you're stuck there for the whole hour. And I was done, like 3 seconds, let's go. So I went and I did what I normally do after I'm done, which is go like wash the filth and shame and guilt off of myself. But I get in the bathroom and Lurch taps on the door and he's like, we turned the water off already. We leave tomorrow. Okay, gross, because you smell. And so I go back out and I call my driver, and he tells me that he's like 45 minutes away, and I'm gonna have to hang out with Lurch for that time. And he doesn't look happy about it when I tell him, and like, I'm not happy about it either. So I decide I'm just gonna wait out in the parking lot, and it was pouring rain, it was fucking cold. And every time a cop car drove by, I would like walk over to a car and pretend like I was getting in it, because prostitution is a felony in New Jersey, and at that time I had none. So oh, okay, I'll just do that. Don't cut my time off for that, it's not my fault. This works? Okay, cool. Sorry, guys. I know you're anticipating the end of the story. So Rob picks me up, and Caitlin's not in the car, and he tells me that the baby daddy, who was actually a called her, and she went to Camden, and she was probably getting high with him because he was a drug dealer, and I guess that's what they did. And at that point, like, I was really sad about this because, you know, it was just obvious that I couldn't keep doing this anymore, and I didn't have my friend, and I had no idea, like, reality was off. So whatever, I go and I'm gonna make more money, and at 3:30 in the morning, those calls are usually like coke dick, they can't get it up, and they want to keep you there the whole hour, and they want to tell you how beautiful you are, and how did you get into this business, and what are you doing with yourself. And I'm normally like cool, like pay me to tell me that. That's great, thanks. But this guy, he couldn't get it up, which was good for me, but I was stuck for the whole hour listening to him tell me these things. And then he shows me around his house, and he's got a daughter who I guess was like with her mother or something, and she said she's 17. He shows me her room, he's bragging about her. She's got like sports trophies all over the place and like posters of like Backstreet Boys or something, and collages of her and her girlfriends and like, you know, teenagers doing normal teenage stuff, and she's smiling, and I have a thought that like, this chick's kind of hot. And then I have another thought that like, what the hell am I doing here? Like, she's 2 years younger than me. How did I get here from there? And like, where am I going with my life? And I was like, all right, universe, I get it. I know what you're trying to say. So I went home that morning, and I never went back to that job. I immediately went out and started like pounding the pavement, and I went where I belonged, which is another shit job in another shit mall.